right? How to see more green shoots of opportunity. Right, so I'm going to get stuck into a concept called the broaden and build theory of positive emotions. Just building on from yesterday's live, if you saw that, was all about a positivity conditioner, right? So it's 3 steps to start thinking more positively, right, in this situation, because when we think more positively, we see more opportunity, right? And this is a bit of the science behind that now. It's called the broaden and build theory by a lady called Barbara Fredrickson, who I think is brilliant, by the way. She's like the godmother of positive psychology, if there is such a thing. And she's someone that's inspired me for many years. This is probably her best book. It's called Positivity. If you're interested in that sort of thing, it's a brilliant book, especially for right about now. Because here's the thing. For many, many years, there's been tons and tons of research into negative emotions, fear, anger, all of those type of things, right? Makes perfect sense, because very often connected to those things are disease, mental issues. So people have been fascinated by these things, right? Because it produces anger, which can produce violence and all these type of things, right? So let's just say the psychological and medical profession have been a bit obsessed with all the negative emotions, right? So there's thousands and thousands of studies on negative emotions, but barely any on positive emotions, up until about 15, 20 years ago. And Barbara Fredrickson was one of these people that came along and said, well, hold on a minute. We've got all this research into negative emotions. They make perfect sense, right, from an evolutionary standpoint, like anger, fear, all of these things, right? We can understand that conceptually, like why they've been really important to our survival over the millennia, right? And whilst those emotions have survived through all the genetic mutations to get it to this point today. But what about positive emotions? Right? And literally the scientific community was a bit like, don't really know what they do. What's the point in them? So Barbara Fredrickson did lots of research around this, saying there has to be an evolutionary purpose to these positive emotions just as much as there is to negative emotions. So she was one of the first band of sort of researchers and scientists to really get stuck into positive emotions, hope, gratitude, these type of things. Like, why are they important? They must be. And out of that research came the broaden and build theory of positive emotions, right? Which is genius, and it helps us understand why positive emotions are so important to our ongoing survival, vibrancy and happiness. So it's this, broaden and build theory is simple. When we experience negative emotions, right? Fear, anger, just think about it. Our focus narrows. It's all about, like, for example, let's say you're walking down a dark alley one night and you hear a rustle in the bushes and you feel like someone's about to step out behind you, right? All you are thinking about in that moment is, I've got to get out, I've got to run, right? It's that fight or flight. I've got to stand and fight or I've got to run, right? All of your focus is narrowed in to that specific task. Every single bit of your psychology, your physiology is like, now is the time, right? I've either got to quickly do something about this or get out of here, right? That's what negative emotions can do for you, right? So they narrow your thinking and your focus. But when you're in that type of state, like a fearful state, you don't see the bigger picture, right? Because, and rightly so, you're more concerned about survival than thinking about, oh, what opportunities are out there for me? Whereas, when we're in a more joyful state, a more positive state through gratitude or hope or love or whatever it is, right? Our thinking is broadened, right? So this is the broaden part of the broaden and build theory. And in that state, that broadened state, we can start to think about opportunities and things that we can do to improve our current situations. We can plan ahead for future hardships. So from an evolutionary standpoint, they came together perfectly, because what we needed as a species to keep evolving and deal with the hardships of life was the ability to, one, get out of trouble quickly, and two, in the good times, for instance, when we could have a bit more positive emotion, start to think about the future, start to see ways that we can improve our lives, to protect ourselves against future hardships. That was the broaden and build, because when we're in that positive state, our thinking is expanded. We can think outside the box. That focus is not narrow, it's broad, right? And I love this stuff. That's why positive emotions are so important, because it moves us away from that fearful state, which is locked in. We can't see the wood for the trees, and it opens up our thinking. And in that space, we can see more green shoots of opportunity, even in turbulent times such as this. And that's why yesterday's exercise, and that's what I'm all about, right? That's why I keep showing up and doing this positive thing, not because I just want to be all happy clappy, because I know there's tons of science behind it. And you can train yourself in that way to see the positive, which you can. I spoke about that at length yesterday. You can condition your mind to become more positive. You broaden your thinking all the time, right? So you start to see these opportunities that you would never have spotted before. If you're in a fearful state, a pessimistic, a negative state, the world's all going to pot type of state, you can't see it, right? You have to broaden your thinking, and you do that through conditioning your mind to be more positive, through gratitude, through hope, all of these type of things, right, that we discussed a bit yesterday. So here's the thing. A great example of this is my friend Jay, right? 3 weeks ago, he's a graphic designer linked to a big print firm, got the call. Everyone's obviously going into lockdown. I spoke to him, incredibly fearful about his job, and rightly so. Like so many people, contractors, full-time employees, staff, everything's getting shut down. In that world, he was pretty sure that the print might go out of business. He'd lost his job, right? It was proper doom gloom, downward spiral, downward spiral. Anyway, in amongst that, the quick thinking and uber positive, by the sounds of it, CEO of that firm, at the point it was all getting shut down, was able to spot the green shoots of opportunity. Suddenly it dawned on him, hold on a minute, what are we going to need in the world right now? We're going to need lots of signage to keep people 2 meters apart, or to wipe down their trolleys, or whatever it is, all linked to this current situation. What if we suddenly did a U-turn and actually created, through our graphic designers and our print, all of this labeling to help these new businesses, from supermarkets to government, have the signage they need? So 24 hours later, a proper 24-hour shift, create a website, restructured the business, created and designed, printed the signage. It got picked up by one of the big supermarkets in Ireland, which then got picked up by another supermarket in Ireland. The government then stepped in and said, hold on, well, your print is now a necessary business. We'll allow you to stay open when we've had to shut the rest down, right? And then all of a sudden, I speak to Jay 2 days ago. He's never been busier in his life. From 3 weeks ago, it was all over, to a period of, we can't, they're out there trying to hire people to help them deal with, obviously, this mass influx of new signage that needs to be put out into the world. I just think that's just a brilliant example, again, of a positive approach to life and seeing the green shoots. Now, I know, caveat everywhere, right? That's not the case for everyone, and that's probably an exceptional case rather than the norm. But the point being, if you can play that out throughout your life, through all the decisions that you have, when you're in that fearful state, you can't see that opportunity. It doesn't exist. It's not on your horizon. Your physiology and your psychology is just locked into the now. I've got to survive this thing, right? And don't get me wrong, that has its place. But in times such as this, I think it's really super important to cultivate that broad thinking that might allow you to spot an opportunity or something that you can do right now within all this turbulence, within all this hardship, that's actually going to foundationally change your path out the other side of these turbulent times. And I think that comes through broadening your thinking. So if you didn't do it yesterday, you can see the live on Facebook, or you can join the free group if you want. I posted in there about the structure to be a bit more positive, to condition your mind to the positive this morning. I will also post the video of yesterday's live into that group if you haven't seen it. So I'll just start showing you a way to structure more positivity in your life so you can see more green shoots, because that is what we need to do right now. Let's do this.